Hi, welcome to Writing in Science. In this module, we'll explore how to combine the most meaningful work you do in science, technology, engineering, and math with a rich writing and revising process to achieve great language and science learning for your bilingual students. Just think about all the writing and speaking your bilingual students have to do in science. Journals or lab notebooks, class discussions, cooperative learning assignments, written assignments, think, pair, shares. Demanding that your students communicate their science discoveries is absolutely critical to developing both content understanding and language fluency. A classroom where students write to learn or speak to learn is the best place to learn science. And a classroom rich in opportunities for students to communicate is the best place for bilingual students. This writing to learn approach made sense for me as a science teacher, but I have to admit, working with students to learn to write was one of the hardest parts of my job. It often involved long hours for me and just to achieve modest gains with my students. It was enough to make me throw up my hands and say, it's not my job to teach writing. In today's standards-driven world, we all know that we are being asked to go beyond writing to learn and speaking to learn. We are all responsible for students to learn to write and learn to speak in content-specific academic language. Whether you look at the Colorado Academic Standards, the Colorado Teacher Effectiveness Standards, or standards implemented by other states, such as the Next Generation Science Standards, it is very clear we must all teach students to communicate scientific and technical information. Teaching writing is our job. We can be smarter about reaching this goal, especially with bilingual students who have the potential to communicate in more than one language. In this module, we'll identify practices that lead to the richest gains for your bilingual students in their written communication skills without creating an unsustainable amount of work on the part of the teacher. Over the next 5 weeks, we'll consider 5 essential questions to develop our understanding of the role STEM activities can play in teaching writing. In week 1, we'll look at how communication of scientific ideas starts from your most meaningful work. When students are constructing knowledge through inquiry investigations, when they're involved in some relevant engineering experience, whenever you're providing some opportunity for students to have ownership of the ideas they wish to communicate, then you're on your way towards a great writing revising process. In week 2, we'll look at the importance of an identified audience. When students communicate to a specific audience, that communication is authentic and more meaningful. We'll look at how we can identify both the audience as well as the language, register, and the style of communication. Next up, we'll look at pre-writing activities that will launch your students into a great writing process. What structures can we put in place that will help students get a great rough draft out there? They need opportunities to discuss their thinking and solidify their scientific understanding, and they need structures such as concept webs or exemplars in order to organize their thoughts and ideas. In week 4, we'll craft clear goals for revision based on students' rough drafts. Students can have specific individualized language goals using the Colorado Language Acquisition Guidelines or the WIDA standards. In the final week's learning, we'll explore how to create a structured revision process that students can use to evaluate and revise their work. We'll focus on quick ways for students to self-assess in order to gain the right level of support from the peers and teacher feedback. We can't offer all there is to know about writing in this short module, but we can try to highlight some of the most important practices that you can use for your bilingual learners. We can give you the freedom to explore the topics that best fit with your classroom environment. Each week you'll have several options to direct the learning towards your most pressing needs, and we'll give you several options that fit into several broad categories. The first is quick plan, make it work opportunities, and these are intended to give you a chance to plan a single lesson for the week's learning topic. For those who want to take a broader look at their curriculum, the big picture make it work option is intended to give you time to reflect on your existing curriculum. Ongoing practice Make It Works give you a chance to try out new pedagogical practice or refine a practice that you already use. Some weeks will have other options as well. For example, collaborating with peers or specialists, or interviewing a bilingual student. And every week, we want to encourage you to modify, combine, or create your own Make It Work that gives you the biggest chance to make a difference with your students. We hope that you'll use this professional development tool to develop and share the practices that you use to achieve bilingual excellence.